Hey D1, my name is Abby Roman. I'm a rising junior at Northeastern University, and I am excited for the opportunity to become your next D1 chair. Growing up in my hometown of White Plains, New York, I was not particularly close to or knowledgeable of Filipino culture. Most of my family was spread across the country or had stayed in the Philippines. Thus, coming to college, I made it a primary effort to grow closer to my Filipino identity. I remember my first college club fair at Northeastern. It seemed like I had crash landed in a place full of opportunity, bustling with students, almost feeling a bit overwhelmed and unsure of what table to visit first, when suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the glimmer of the Filipino flag waving in the air on a Swiffer stick. From there, I knew exactly where I was meant to be. Starting off in my home org, NU Barkada, I was shocked by how many Filipinos, both ethnically and by heart, filled the classroom of our first general meeting. It was beautiful and especially comforting to have a community that I have since come to know as my home away from home, bridging gaps in my Filipino identity and only increasing my appreciation and pride for the kindness and hospitality displayed by Filipino culture. Early in my Barkada experience, I was even more shocked to find out that beyond Northeastern, there was a space for the Filipino organizations of other schools in the Boston and Greater Boston area to meet and engage in activities sharing an appreciation of Filipino culture. D1 Find. Eager to learn more about other organizations as well as meet students from other schools, I quickly involved myself in EPR organized events like trips to Time Out Market, where I learned from the experiences of other students navigating their Filipino identity and made friends. However, most notably, I recall my first major D1 event, Kamayan 2024. Having been an athlete my entire life, I had been apprehensive about joining Barkada dance, but in taking a leap of faith to try something new, I learned to love dance not only for its technicality, but also for the stories it told about Filipino culture and for the ways it had exposed me to dances spanning many regions of the Philippines. During Kamayan, I was in awe of the performances of other schools in D1, from electric modern sets to the grace and careful balance of candles or cups featured in some traditional sets. The theme of Kamayan at the time, the heart of the Filipino, not only struck nostalgia for me having grown up taking Philippine Airlines, but also cultivated in me a sense of pride for Filipino culture, as well as gratitude for the space I shared with students from other schools in D1 to showcase dances each of us had practiced hard for the semester. Something that my involvement in my home org has taught me is the importance of meeting people at their needs. In choreographing a Filipino traditional dance this past semester, Sayaw sa Bangko, I understood not only the importance of merely teaching choreography, but also preserving and communicating traditional elements of Filipino dance. Moreover, initially challenged by the sheer number of dancers, I, along with my co-choreographer, spent countless hours building additional benches to accommodate dancers. Meeting other students in the D1 community early on in my college experience inspired me to deepen my involvement and contribute to D1. This past year, as many may know, I served as one of your community chairs. In the fall semester, my co and I had the privilege of hosting events such as D1 Amazing Race and D1's Got Talent, where we were able to preserve D1 tradition, but also pay homage to some older D1 events, creating newer and more exciting experiences for members of D1. Moreover, most recently, we had the privilege of managing April Anarchy, welcoming athletes of our community and a shared love for basketball. We also brought back an old classic, D1 Mangoes, a line dancing event featuring live music from Berklee College of Music. Organizing these events has not only allowed me to exercise my skills in navigating the logistics of each event, communicating among boards, and rallying general members of each home org, but also shown me the importance of ensuring that the organizations among D1 are seen. From my experience in D1, I can understand the challenges of representing schools near and far from the Boston area, but in seeing increasing involvement and excitement from schools from afar, I have been inspired to continue to represent schools of D1 in their fullest capacity. As the chair of D1, I want to continue to facilitate avenues of communication with each home org, using channels like Slack in order to meet each org's needs, as well as organize ways for them to host an event with D1. In doing so, I hope to give each org, big and small, the resources they need to succeed as individual organizations, as well as promote the intermingling of schools within D1. Moreover, in coordinating with future community chairs, I want to continue to create intentional spaces that not only promote the social aspects of Filipino culture, but educate those who may not feel as close with their Filipino identity on other aspects of Filipino culture, like dance, language, and family. However, my ambitions go beyond just increasing involvement of orgs within D1. Being blessed to live in such a densely populated college town, I would like to facilitate ways to see more interaction between districts of Find, starting with our neighbors of D3. It would start with visits to the events of D3 to build connections with members of their representative schools, then culminate with what would ultimately be a mini conference, hosting the schools of D3 and D1 in a day of activities that are not only educational, but also social, to foster intermingling between each school. As a non-profit organization, I believe D1 finds its strength in numbers. Thus, in fostering connections within and beyond D1, I believe D1 would be able to navigate and overcome challenges that come with the complexity of being a nonprofit organization, whether logistically or with general impact and involvement. With that, I would like to explore the home orgs of schools that are not already associated with Find by attending their home org events and inviting them to attend events hosted by D1 to encourage them to join D1 and the greater Find community. This is not only to make these organizations and schools feel seen, but also to increase community involvement as well as give these organizations the resources and platform they need to succeed. Thank you.